very lucky this morning. Sun is out. I'm very happy to be here. This is one of the top best places to visit if you are wanting to see manta rays.
3 dives. Okay, so we have 1 dive in San Miguel Island here, and we have 2 dives in Manta Bowl. So our boat travel from Donsol going to San Miguel Island. We have 1 hour or maybe 1 hour and 30 minutes boat ride.
Kuya Melvin! We are gonna go to Ticao Island and check out the manta rays. Just like that, we are on our sailboat. We're on our boat, our large bangka. It's called Noah, if I'm not mistaken. And it's quite a big one. I'm happy. Sailing time or journey time is about 45 minutes to an hour to sunblock to our first dive, which is about 25 meters depth. And then the second dive, which is going to be at the Manta Bowl, is another 45 minutes to an hour journey. And the final depth of that will be around 23 meters. And I am looking forward to taking some underwater videos. Our dive today includes lunch, and I'm not sure if it includes coffee, but I'm looking for coffee, yeah. And then we're gonna have some, for lunch we're having chicken adobo, vegetables, and rice. Okay, the best time to see the manta rays, March, April, May. Rice cake, huh?
Okay na yan. You try.
You try. Let's hati na lang po kami. Salamat. Thank you. In the Philippines, we have this snack called puto, which is rice cake, and looks like it's got some ube. Let's give it a try. Yeah? It's like sweet, and it's sweet, it's airy, it's light. It usually goes well with coffee or tea. The thing is, I didn't put sunblock on my shoulders yesterday, and it's pretty wild. It's not looking so great, but if you look at Eddie's sleeves, looks like ham. I also have ham.
Seared meat.
Seared meat. He said that, not me. So if you're wanting to say manta rays in Tagalog, what is it?
Pasa-pasa.
Pasa-pasa. So it's strange because pasa means to pass, like pasa-pasa. But I guess. Oh, what's the sign? What's the signal for that? No, like what's the underwater signal for that? Yeah. So if you see one, you do that. But I highly doubt you're gonna need to do that because you're probably gonna see it right away. We are about to sail. I think on a busy time, the boat would probably be really filled with people, at least 20 people. But right now we're lucky that it's just us. So very happy that we have the boat to ourselves. This is why a lot of boatmen are so ripped. They keep pulling stuff and carrying heavy stuff, and I don't know. I think I would not make a good boat person. I probably make a good host, a boat person. Oh my gosh, I'd probably make a good server for coffee and snacks. but to pull a lot of heavy rope and stuff, might not have any progress with that. Our boat was pretty big. It comes with a kitchen and a toilet. To jump in the water, I've got my dive cam ready. It's not even a cam actually, it's a housing. I thought this might be more cost efficient than actually buying an underwater camera. So this one is a housing called Refine, and it actually comes with a built-in computer, so that saves money as well on having to buy a computer. The first dive spot is called Odok, and that's over at Ticao Island. We finally got to our first diving spot here at Odok. I just wanted to show you that we're actually preparing lunch here at the kitchen, and it's going to be chicken adobo and some vegetables and rice later on. This was our first dive, but also known as a test dive to see if we can handle the currents. As you can see, the other divers were being swayed by strong currents, and I have to say that this is not for beginners. If you're comfortable being pushed by the current, then you'll be absolutely fine. In my case, this is my first time to experience strong currents, and all I knew to do is just to stay calm. We were given hooks to hook onto rocks as a test run to see if we'll be able to stay calm and stable. It may look like we're pretty calm here, but the currents were pretty strong. As you'll see shortly, my hook was attached to a rock. During the first dive, there really wasn't anything to see. This was definitely just a test to see how you'll do with currents, and that's us in our decompression period. You can already see the surface, but we need to stay here for a couple of minutes. We are done with the first dive. And the first dive at Odok was pretty chilled out. We saw a lot of nudie branches, not too much fishes, no turtles, but it was looking really pretty. It's a good introduction to my first dive in 2 years. The last dive I dove was before the pandemic, and this is just a chilled out dive to test your buoyancy and to see if you still remember all the protocols. This must be us at the Manta Bowl. We are accompanied by 2 other bangkas or dive boats. I think we're pretty lucky because if it's like a busy season, I wouldn't be surprised if this entire area would be filled with dive boats. So right now it's just the 3 of us. It's before lunch, so it's still morning, and we're gonna get ready to see some manta rays. Fingers crossed, we see a lot. Oh, thank you. Wow, it's nice. So finally we are in the middle of the sea, particularly right in front of Ticao Island, and we are at the famous area called Manta Bowl. And for its root word, manta, we are here to see the manta rays. Fingers crossed we see a lot. Now we are told that the currents are quite strong, so definitely not for someone who is a beginner. I'm just hoping that the currents are mildly strong, if that makes any sense, because yeah, it's been a while. It's been 2 years since my last, I would say 3 years since my last drift dive. So yep, just always be alert, make sure you stick to the dive guide, and we should be okay. Very, very excited. Sorsogon is beautiful. Right now, let's go check out the manta rays. In total, we had 2 dives over at the Manta Bowl. Our first dive wasn't so successful, but lo and behold, check it out. This was our first sighting of a manta ray.
This was absolutely so divine and they look so majestic. We heard from another dive group when they went to the Manta Bowl twice. They did not get to see a manta ray, however, they got to see 3 whale sharks. So it just really depends on the timing. The camera I was using was just my iPhone 8. It's a very fairly old model, but I used the WeFine house casing to put my camera in. The WeFine casing can go up to 100 meters below. In our case, this was only about 23 to 25 meters. I was reading up on manta rays and how they defend themselves against other big creatures or small creatures in the sea, and the answer there is just purely flight. These guys can go so fast in the water. In case you're wondering how much our dive cost, it's 6,000 pesos for 3 dives in total. 2 of them are at the Manta Bowl and the first one was over at San Juan for a test current dive. Our dive at San Juan, there was really nothing to see, but it's just to test your buoyancy and to see how far you do with strong currents. Inclusive in the 6,000 peso worth of 3 dives, they also gave us some snacks. And by snacks, it was puto, which is like a little Filipino pastry. And it also came with coffee and sugar. And then they served us lunch. I can't tell you how lucky we were. As we were taking videos and pictures of the manta ray, it decided to make a U-turn and paraded itself in front of us. This way we got to take better pictures and videos of the beautiful manta ray. In total, we got to see 2 manta rays. The second one just swam over our heads, and that was just so fascinating. By this time, after seeing the first manta ray, we thought that we were so content and we were ready to go up. But then a second one just went by over our heads, and that for me was the grand finale. At the end of the dive, there's nothing else to do but play around. Have some fun with some bubbles. I can't do them, but it was pretty entertaining to see it. Check out the view of Mount Mayon. This is a very active volcano over at Bicol.